Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the book Refuge, and welcome to it's basically a recommendation video, but today we're talking about some of my favorite strong heroines. So if you want to take that as recommendations, you can. But it's not like a typical recommendations video because I will be talking more about the characters specifically. So in kind of the same way that I recently put up a video that was like book boyfriends, I mean, you can consider some of these ladies my girl crushes or my book girlfriends, whatever you want. And just know that if I did swing that way, if I was curious in the same gender, these would be some of my gals, okay? They would be. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm gonna try to keep this one precise and on the nose. I got my DoorDash coming for dinner, so I can't take all day, man. I'm just kidding. Not about the dinner, but I mean, we'll take our time. So here we go. Starting off, we're gonna show the pictures for these ones because I'm too lazy to grab all the books off my shelves today. Sorry. We have my number one girl. Okay, guys, she's my number one girl. I would follow her anywhere, and that's Vane from A Heart of Blood and Ashes. Okay, I talk about this book in every video that I can, and so don't expect that to be any different here. Okay, Vane is amazing. The challenges that this chick has had, the trauma that she's been put through by her father and brothers, and by circumstances, and also by her love interest, because Maddox has his head up his ass for a lot of this part of this book. Vane proves that physical strength and looks mean nothing in comparison to your character and strength of will. And that is what you get with Vane, okay? This woman has a core of steel. And she's amazing. And if you haven't read this book yet, I don't know what you're fucking doing here. Go read it right now. Next, I have Nesta, which, I mean, I can grab this one because it's actually right here, from A Court of Silver Flames. Because, wow, there's a couple reasons, guys. Because she is a prickly bitch, okay? But this is strong heroines, all right? And this woman, Nesta, this fictional woman, who is definitely a point of contention for a lot of people. She is not a lot of people's favorite lady, okay? But for me, she is so strong. Even though we have to watch her breakdown first, okay? She has an outer strength and like this prickliness that she has, but she doesn't gain her true strength until she's able to let her family back in. There are also a lot of things that I personally relate to with Vane. I have a father, and we have a great relationship now, but we did have a very contentious relationship, and there were years of my life where I expected my father to die in a mess of his own making, okay? And I have been able to have reconciliation and have a wonderful relationship with my dad. But I feel for Nesta through this book and the grief and the anger and the self-hatred that she had. Not so much a self-hatred. I'm not like that. But I could see it and see how she got to that point and see how like painful it was. So she's on there for me, okay? She's on there for me because I relate to her and I see her strength come through. Bristol from Grip. Yes. Both characters from this series make for me. Bristol, she's another character. She's a heroine who feels like a bitch, right? She feels like a bitch when we see her. She's a porcupine. She doesn't want to let you in close to her, and you got to get to her soft little underbelly and give her a little back scratch before she'll lay down her quills for you. But the things that she goes through with her partner, and the way that she's able to still hope for a better future and to still want a better future with him is so beautiful, and I love it. I love it. Honoria from Devil's Bride. I love this woman. I love how she will not be forced into a situation, by a man, no matter how attracted she is to him, no matter what her lady bits are telling her. She will make an informed decision before she will just fall in with him. I love how she's faced with a pretty crazy situation in the beginning of Devil's Bride, and she just jumps right in and starts helping out. She, again, like the head-to-head combat that her and Devil do at some different points in this book, I just think she's so strong. And then she also knows how to compromise. Like, one of my favorite parts about Devil's Bride is the way that the couple is able to finally come to a compromise, and the way that they're able to be honest and straightforward with each other. I just love it. I love it so much. Camille from Filthy Dark. This is the 4th book in that series, and Camille is also from a different series by Serena Akeroyd, where we see her be she's lived as a club whore for quite a long time, because she would rather be a club whore for this MC, for this motorcycle club, than live under her father's home. Her father is a brutal mafia man, and she would rather be someone's plaything than be there. But when that situation comes to an end, she is looking for protection, and she's willing to enter into this arranged marriage with a man who's also once had an affair with her mother, which is very interesting. Like, too much to talk about it. But Camille is someone who we see her overcome self-harm in this book with the help of her partner. Okay, she doesn't do this all on her own. That is a tough burden to carry all on her own. But I love that she's not weak just because she resorts to that. And she's even stronger when she works towards overcoming that. And there's a particular scene in this book where she refuses to be put back into a submissive position by an enemy, and she makes a very bold choice that both stunned me. I mean, it disgusted me because it was gross, not because she disgusted me for doing it. And the woman who feels like she's in her most vulnerable and broken position becomes just a goddess, becomes a queen, and it's wonderful. Seraphine from Twisted Pride. Seraphine is going to be my girl crush till the end of the days. Who else could be the mafia queen to Remo's crazy king but Seraphine? And the choices that she has to make when she is abandoned by Remo, there's a difficult situation. He's not just, there's stuff going on. But for all intents and purposes in her mind, she's been abandoned by Remo. And she still makes a very brave choice to look out for someone. I don't want to spoil things in this one, so I'm like, meh. That is a great risk to both her physical self and her heart. And she is, she's amazing. She's wonderful, beautiful, precious. I love her. And she is just look at her. She's fierce. She's amazing. Phoebe from Dearest Rogue. This is a new love of mine. OMG. This girl is blind. She is curvaceous, and she has a thing for her bodyguard, who is older than her and has a limp. And she just will not let her brother, who is a duke, tell her what to do. She won't let this bodyguard tell her that he's too old for her and too lame for her. She's like, no. I won't be held back from anything. I will have what I deserve. And I just love it. And watching her be the instigator to a certain degree and to bridge that class difference, it's fantastic. She is beautiful and wonderful and amazing. I love it. Alex from the Sherbrooke Bride. This is a character that I've loved for a very long time. This is from one of my first historical romances I ever read. Recently, I did a reread of this book with my friend Jessin from Jessin Reads Romance, and I was reminded of how awesome Alex is. Alex is a young woman who is in love with a man who's gonna marry her sister. And she makes a choice that makes her his wife instead of her sister being his wife. And he rejects her. And so she's like, fine, okay. But then he's like, well, no, but you don't just get to leave. Maybe I want you to stay. And she's like, well, if you don't want me for me, then I'm gonna go. And she refuses to accept less from this man than what she deserves. That she deserves to be treated like a woman, a beautiful woman, a important part of his family. And she literally punches him in the face when he's not nice to her once, when he makes fun of her. And when he doesn't believe the strong, passionate feelings that she has, she demands more from him. And I can't tell you how hot that gets me, but to see her get what she needs from him, it's beautiful, it's beautiful. Mercy from Bound to a Warrior. This is a bit of a softer, sweeter heroine who is no less strong and fierce than some of these other warrior women that I have mentioned. Not only does this book have a stunning cover and have just, Mercy is so beautiful, but she finds herself in a very dangerous situation, and she is literally chained to a man she doesn't know. And she, in the first few pages of this book, agrees to jump off a cliff with him, not knowing who he is. She doesn't know how to swim. She doesn't know how they'll survive, but she trusts him, and they jump. And then they go on a journey together for a significant amount of time where they are living in the wilderness. They are cold and hungry, and they don't know who to trust. And the way that she is hopeful and patient and doesn't falter when they are in some intimate situations where, I mean, the hero, he's wonderful in this as well. You know, they literally need to huddle together naked for warmth, and he's as much of a gentleman as is possible in these situations. But the reasons that she's running are, I mean, obviously I'm not going to spoil them, but the fact that she would be brave enough to run and to try to make her own way and to do what is right. She's an elegant, beautiful woman, and there's strength in that. There are different kinds of strength, and I love it. I love it. Speaking of different kinds of strength, there is Penelope from Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, which is my favorite Bridgerton novel. It's probably my favorite Julia Quinn novel. One of my favorite historical romances of all time. Not only do I see myself in Penelope, more so this year than any other, because I'm now the same age as Penelope is in Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. She is firmly sat on the shelf of spinsterhood, and though she is willing to be a wallflower in her day-to-day life, she has dreams and plans and goals and has made something of herself. Even though she may never have the credit for it, she knows that she has done more than any of those other people around her could even imagine her to do. And when something starts to happen with the man she has loved always since she was a young girl, she still isn't willing to have it just because it might be convenient or it might be what's best. She wants nothing less than complete love and devotion, and she demands it. And it's so beautiful to see her get her happily ever after being ridiculed and scorned and poked fun of for so much of her life. And so Penelope is a hero of mine, and I love every time I read that book and get to see her come into her own, and for her and Colin to acknowledge that they're not the same people that they were back then, and that something has changed in them, that though she has always loved him, he hasn't always loved her. But just because he's now realizing he loved her, it doesn't mean that she loves the same man that he was back then. Like, they've both changed. And so it doesn't make his love, though it is new and fresh to her, any less than her long devotion to him. Because did she really know him? Did she really know who he was then? Or was it just an infatuation? And the maturity it takes to realize that and still be willing to move forward with this person, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love it. Then there is Georgiana from Never Judge a Lady by Her Cover by Sarah McLean. I don't want to say too much about this one, but if you know this series, then you know why. Georgiana is a boss bitch at a time when it's tough to be one of those. I love her brain. I love her machinations and her bravery and her demand that she will take the future that she wants and she will get it. And it's amazing. It's so good. And then the last one I want to mention is Amelia from Mine Till Midnight. This is a woman who's put in a tough position. Her family her parents have died. She, for all intents and purposes, is running her family because her brother, who has inherited, is a disaster. He's not only lost his parents, but he lost the woman that he loved, and he is a train wreck. And what does she do? She doesn't just throw up her hands and let themselves wallow in genteel poverty. She goes into town and hunts down her brother and is ready to drag him back by his ears, sober him up, clean him up, and make him be the respectable man that he is meant to be. Does she need some help? Yes. Is she immediately willing to have it? No. But what I do appreciate about her is that she does say thank you when she needs to. And when it becomes clear, I mean very clear because it does take her a while. When it becomes clear that she needs a helping hand and that the man who is willing to give it loves her, she makes room for that man in her life. It's not an easy one. But I admire Amelia so much. And I would say Lisa Kleypas writes some badass heroines. It was difficult to pick one. But Amelia is... she's my first love when it comes to Lisa Kleypas heroine. She's not the first one I read. But she just... I felt a kinship with her in the responsibility she was ready to take for other people and the way that she does that. And I loved it. So there you go. This was just a quick listing of some of my favorite strong heroines in romance novels. Tell me who yours are. Are yours aligned with mine, or do you have completely different ones for you? Thank you so much for watching this video. I put up new videos 3 to 4 times a week. Make sure you check out channel memberships if you'd like more access to me. And thank you to the channel members I already have who make so many things possible. Have a wonderful day, everyone.